Indeed back for the Super Formula. Not the Group 3s this time, we were in the Group 3s last time. And so here we are then, Group 3s, the Super Formula Championship. It is time for race 4, the German Grand Prix at Nurburgring. My co-commentator at the moment, Bud, she's not here, but I'm hoping he'll show up at some point. We've not currently got a lot of people on at the moment. We should be hoping more people will show up eventually. That is the plan. So here we are then, on the grid. Well, we're not on the grid. We're here in Germany for the 4th round of the season. The race is Nurburgring, German Grand Prix. Pretty much, we're calling it German Grand Prix. So as we see them all now on the track, getting a bit of last minute practice in on our grid. We're only 6 at the moment. There should be more on my way soon enough. This is G was a substitute in the last race. He is now a full-time racer alongside Rusi in the newly formed Infinity Race team. Infinity Racing. ERT Wizard, he is replacing, I believe it's Ribs, this one? Yeah. Who has joined us. He's 1 point so far, and Emperor Buttocks, who's not actually meant to be raced, but he's a substitute for someone. Night Dawn has just hit something. It's not ideal. But yeah, Bud should be with us shortly. Walter, and we've got Max. Just a last minute bit of practice. Do this. In the Nurburgring. It is race 4 and Raiden is taking a relatively commanding lead in the championship, and really looking to continue that lead as here he is now, just trying to overtake his teammate on track. There we go, the two good smile boys. G is coming in with the time that's just underneath a second of Raiden. And what I must say is an absolutely stunning livery for Infinity Racing, with G and Rusi at the helm. Both drivers that came in initially as subs, and then when the bottlers of Herbie and Hamza had to pull out, they sort of came in afterwards, and they're going to be looking to build on the points. Rusi scored points for this team. They didn't have these livery though. This is the first race with this livery, which picked up 6 points for this team. Speaking of points, we shall quickly take a look at our points table then, as Night Donna heads in to the pit lane. The new driver on the block is Max PCK1, who takes... Right, now stay with me on this one. Max PCK1 told that he is taking in for Emperor Buttocks' place at Sonic Racing, because Emperor Buttocks, yes you guys don't see, that is Emperor Buttocks, but he was meant to have pulled out from this league, but then we've dragged him in for this race as a substitute because May can't make it. I know, it's not confusing in the slightest. Brighton lad has joined the room with us. Wizard has left the room for some reason. Brighton. Yeah, so basically that's the situation, is that Emperor pulled out initially of Sonic and Max, replaced him, the Dutchman, and then Emperor Bolduc has been drafting me again for... Budgefed has joined us. So yeah, we've got now Budgefed in the lobby. Over in the lobby I think we've got 10 people, 8 of which we're racing. We should be getting more than that. It's concerning that only 8 are going to out for a party invite. Yeah, I'm afraid background noise is not much I can do about that. Alright, Budge. Yeah. Budge. I can't really hear you. I think your mic seems really quiet, like more quiet than usual. Hello Walter, welcome to the stream. As PC Emperor was it, seemingly struggling with track limits a bit there. Oh, there you go, that's a bit better. There you know. You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a nice relaxing day. I didn't actually get up to anything, so...
Yeah, fair enough then. Was previously just commented on the pre-season race for Group 3, which was fun. They trying a new format out, but here we are now. It's probably the most anticipated series on the IGTL. It's Super Formula time. Easily the most exciting of the lot. Don't care what you say. Yeah. So, and here we are then at the Nurburgring in Germany. A great circuit, plenty of places to overtake, and parts of the track will require a lot of concentration from the drivers. First sector should be fun. Kind of constantly turning through the first 4 corners.
Yeah, that first corner has a habit of catching quite a lot of people out. If you're trying to pick up too much time, you can spin out quite easily as soon as you come out the other side of it. And just turn number 2, which is squirt a little bit too much power going coming out of there, and you find yourself running too wide and not coming out the inside onto turn 3.
Yeah, the...
Trying to put yourself within a couple of minutes as you come back out the other side is always going to be difficult. You've got time to be lost on the
Yeah, the pit wall as well on the final corner sometimes catches people out, especially when you're in a mad battle against another car and you're desperately trying to get into the pits, and it can very easily go wrong heading into the pit lane. It'd be interesting to see if anyone makes that mistake today in today's race. We should hope not, but anything can happen, so who knows what will happen as a result. We've got a couple of people subbing in for a couple of Emperor Bullocks, who's subbing in for May, which will be Walter's teammate. There's That's only it for on the race. Wizard is scheduled to be subbing in for, I think it's Ribs, and Tay should also be joining us for this race.
Just catching up on Nurburgring now, keeps all four wheels within the white line on the left hand side.
Wizard has returned to us, it seems. But yeah, track limits tend to sometimes be an issue around this track, mainly in that first sector. Track limits occasionally cause problems of people running wide. We'll see if that is to cause any issues in today's race. But who knows what is going to happen. Yep, so first corner on the first lap should be fun, as we see a lot of drivers all charging into a very tight hairpin corner. Heavy braking zone for the first corner, and they're all going to go for it really at once. And they say the races are not won on the first corner, and it's not like it's an impossible track to overtake on, but you can gain time on that first corner, especially if you get a bit of a disappointing qualifying. You can gain time, or you can get in positions up the course this race. So maybe we won't see anyone getting a bit too hyper aggressive going into turn one, but then again.
So what would you do then? Turn one, would you go down the inside or try and safely go around the outside?
I think due to the nature of the corner, because the apex is a huge, it's almost like a Mount Everest sized dip on the apex. It's a horrible corner. I tend to find it better to go around the outside. Even when I'm on my own, I don't tend to touch that apex at turn one, because it's quite a drop and has a tendency to throw the balance of the car off horrifically. So, but generally, turn one, lap one, I always find myself going down the inside regardless. What about you? What do you do?
What we say there is to go down the outside and even go around the cars and hoping that the ones that sort of spin are more on the inside and get good places. But it's really easy to get drawn to that inside, because if you can make it work and you can make the other side, it's not sure that it looks to.
Well, Sissy getting a huge moment that going out of turn two. But yeah, with turn one, if you position your car on the outside and you get that run around them, it then switches to the inside for the second corner. So, to be fair, the outside sometimes is fairly decent. As I think a couple of people might be having a bit of connection issues. Wizard his game, I think, keeps crashing. Tay hasn't even got the car, and Raiden can't see his teammate on the screen. There seems to be a bit of an issue at the moment. Tay has now joined us. I believe Tay is subbing in for Hunty on this one, so he is in the Red Bull. Unfortunately, as we saw on the last one in Catalonia, Gad Gaming and Hunty, the two Red Bulls, had a really good battle at the end of the race. It was quite an exciting thing to watch, really. But unfortunately, neither of them will be in this race. It was like Tay is replacing Hunty, but Gad Gaming last minute as well told us he also can't make it, which is a bit upsetting, really. But all in all, here we are for the Super Formulas at the Nurburgring. I think we might just wait a bit longer, see if. So I think Raiden and Wizard are not in the lobby with us. So Raiden is, sorry, Wizard is not, no. So, also there's a new team on the block in the form of Infinity Racing, with Ruti did go for that team. Vitman G has now joined that team full time, so they'll be hoping to pick up points. And for some reason my camera is stuck on looking at Vitman G in the pits, so admire it. You have to, you don't get a choice. I don't know why it's doing this, but it is. It's annoying.
Yeah, everyone's just also around the track at the moment. Just get some down into the first half of the hairpin.
Yeah, I can't seem to like stop looking at Vitman G. I'm trying to go, but it won't let me. Writing is also right. We may just have to push back qualifying for in because I have to stare at the back of Vitman G. I don't get a choice in the matter. It will not let me change, and he's not even doing anything either. Got right in the back. Just ask Wizard if we should be expecting his return. Can't change camera, can't change driver, can't change nothing. I'm stuck looking at Vitman G in the pit lane. Brilliant stuff this. Again, 10 out of 10.
It was against Wendersley that went for the same from that turn 4. Just putting the clock there, but putting the power down. Nicely designed car, a picture of a cartoon of small Japanese lady.
Is that the Good Smile livery of red and says, no, then, well, whilst we're staring at Vitman G, let's quickly run us through the points table then going into this fourth race. And this is also the halfway point of the season. So in the Drivers' Championship, Raiden sits himself in the lead on 65 points, 26 points clear of Knight Donna, who sits second on 39. Right and last, holding off in third place, only 6 points behind Knight Donna on 33. Fourth place is May with 28 points. However, May not being in this race will affect his ability to get into that top 3. Hunty is in 5th place on 18 points, with Ribs in 6th on 14 points. Neither of those are in this race, which means it's a great opportunity for Walter, who's on 13 points, and then 3 guy with 12 points, to try and make themselves up a couple of positions in the championship standings. Ruti's on 6 points in 9th place, and Gad Gaming on 4 points. Sissy, a man that probably really needs to try and score some more points. He's currently in 4th, which is a relatively decent position for him at the moment. And obviously he's not going to be on the level of his teammate, but I think he'd be hoping for a better season than he has, because he's currently only scored 1 point and he's outside the top 10, so he's going to want to try and do better than that. Foxy, Vitman G and Max have yet to score points because, like, they've not really raced properly. In the constructors then, we've got Good Smile Racing, who are a full 31 points clear of the WAR cars of Walter and May. Rottenbury Racing are only 2 points off WAR in 3rd place, so this could be a good race if they're able to beat the two of them. Yorkshire Tea in 4th place, a long way off actually for the top 3. Sonic Racing on 33 points, with Red Bull on 22 points, and Infinity Racing on only 6. So that is our points tables going into this race. I believe we will now start the stuck check. We are not sure where. Yeah, we're going to start the stuck check, which will then lead into a 10-minute qualifying. So we will do like the first sector. They'll probably end up crashing into each other because it's the IGTL. and then they'll back out, and then we should be go for the race, or qualifying at least. Oh, Raiden's not even in, I've just... God damn it. Right, it looks like it's a stuck check without Raiden, because apparently Raiden wasn't readied up. I thought he was, but apparently he wasn't. We've just got to hope that he doesn't get stuck on the grid. So there you can see the grid lined up for the stuck check, 9 cars. It would be 10, which means everyone who finishes will score a point. Which is a positive, I suppose.
That's my kind of race.
Doesn't mean they're going to take it easy. So let's see, this is just a time to assess what is everyone's thought process. Emperor Buttocks is reversing, Vim and G is not moving, and it didn't look to go well. Vim and G is moving now, and 3 guys not going much further, and Brighton Lad is also stopped. 3 guys not moving, Vim and G is on the grass, Brighton Lad spinning round. All in all, that was not ideal. There's Racer. Oh, and Racer Tay had just been murdered by Walter. Right, I'm not certain what happened there. I don't think anyone was stuck, but Buttocks was reversing. There's always one that reverses off the grid, isn't there?
There's always one. Yeah. That's a couple of G's actually.
Because I don't think Vitmanji's driving. There's no throttle being applied or anything. He's just sort of rolling. But he's steering, so... I don't think Vitmanji is actually at the controller right now. That fell initially. Walter went full force on. And Max, I don't think knows what a stuck check is, because he's not leaving. I think he's going all at it on this first lap, and it's nice to see him really trying for it, but unfortunately, I mean, there's only 2 people and one of them's not really doing anything. I'm sure. I have reason to believe, I think Vitman could be AFK, but I'm not certain. I think he is. It would make sense, because at the moment he's not really doing anything. Every guy has left. And we're all waiting on Vitman G. Yeah, Vitman G is AFK right now, so... At the moment, Vitman G is... We're all waiting for him to return. Oh, hang on, he's on the move. Alright then. So then that does lead a 10-minute qualifying. Which means now the drivers have to go as fast as they can to set a lap time and to decide first, last, and everything in between. We will probably expect Raiden to be on pole position. I mean, he's had pole every race so far this season. Donna is the first one out on track. He's got a bit of a gap to Vitman G, chosen to go out next. Walter's out third, and 3 guys out fourth. Raiden, Emperor Buttocks, Racer Tay, Sissy, and Righton Lad. In fact, so there's Raiden and Emperor Buttocks, who are very close to each other on the track, and I think Raiden lets him through. I feel there are a relatively lot amount of straights on this track, so I suppose slipstream's not exactly a huge negative. Slipstream's not exactly a huge negative for a track like this to improve your lap time, whilst there are a couple of corners that probably require max amounts of downforce from hitting like the Schumacher S. There are some huge straights where you can probably slipstream each other to help a better result in the end for qualifying. Vimon G is then the first one on track. Now Donna drops back a bit, so he's got a sizable margin actually to anyone else in the field. As Walter is currently second. Raiden and Emperor Buttocks relatively close to each other on the track. Let's see if they choose to fan out a bit more. Racing Red Bull livery, unfortunately the only Red Bull that's actually going to be there because Gad isn't present or hunting. Night Donner and Sissy are going very slowly. I don't know if Sissy's waiting for Night Donner to go and Night Donner's waiting for Sissy to go. But Night Donner is revving the hang on, I think Night Donner might be trying to waste fuel. Here we go then, Vimon G into the first corner then. Relatively tidy, no sign of a bit of trying to fight the application of the throttle out the first corner. Constantly staring for these next series of corners, on dab on the brakes, don't accelerate too early otherwise you will be forced wide and pick up a penalty. That it could be a crunch point for penalties, but in the end Vimon G did make that one through safe into the braking zone then. It's a nice and tidy lap from Vimon G at the moment. He's looking relatively strong here. We'll see what happens. It's looking a pretty confident lap from Vimon G at the moment. And it's a 53.5 at the end of the first sector. Through the Schumacher S, I didn't quite see if that was entirely flat throughout. Got Vimon G managing to find his way through. Tom Lills, that is not a Hoover, that is actually my PlayStation. I'm afraid I should probably clean the fan out, but never decide to. I'm afraid there's not much really do to block it out, I'm afraid. But Vimon G then comes into the final corner then to see where this lap is. It looks relatively tidy. What is it? It's a 1 minute, it's a 1:39.4. Walter comes across the line and is 1.7 seconds back, but Raiden, this is going to be the real man to compare to, and he goes to 38.7, only 7 tenths quicker than Vimon G. Emperor Buttocks. He's actually gone slowest of everyone so far. Racer Tay coming up in at third place using the slipstream off of Buttocks so far. And in fact, Wrighton lad has popped up a time, only half a second away from Raiden. An impressive time from Wrighton to put himself on that front row provisionally. Who's next across the line? I think it's Night Donner coming out the final corner now. What's he going to go? And he goes 5th. That is going to be relatively disappointing for Night Donner, because he's usually right up there at the front, but down in 5th place. He could take position from that in the race if that's where he decides he's going to end up staying. M3 guy on an outlap, and Max is coming toward the end of his lap. We'll see where this places him now as he manages to get his way through the chicane. This could be another key overtaking point, is going into that final chicane. The long straight braking zone, use of overtake button could be applied there as well. Through the final corner, only caught the back end of this lap, but it doesn't look to be pole. It is indeed 8th place, and only just quicker than that of Emperor Buttocks. So he's not exactly a million miles on, and M3 guy is now the only one not to set a lap time.
So yeah, the Raiden fastest lap. He can go faster. He was caught in slight traffic in his fast lap. He's just coming into the pits.
He's in the pits now, yeah. So it's just Raiden, so tends to be half a second quicker than everyone and still be able to go quicker. But I think the only real surprise, I'd say, is Wrighton, who's had an incredible lap to find himself on the front row provision as it stands. Incredible lap from him. Obviously Vimon G is going to want to get on that front row, so will take Night Donner as well. I think White is slightly disappointed with that P5. I feel he could be a lot better than that, and he generally is quite a long way up on the grid toward the front end, so I reckon he might be slightly disappointed with it, but it's the race where points come from. Yeah, M3 guy, he's about to begin his lap. The only person who's not set a lap time and 6 minutes in, so we may get just 1 or 2 laps here. We'll see where he goes with this one then. He's the only person not to set time into turn 1. Where does he brake? Just after the 50-meter board. The cars here are incredible on the brake, but he looks extremely slow going through that first corner. Hello Alan, welcome to the stream. Glad you're all from the moment. We're just watching M3 guy getting a bit of traffic with Walter. Walter has had his fair share of instances with letting people through, picking up the drive-through penalty to the last race for failing to let people through in Brands Hatch. But M3 guy's lap has not started off brilliant.
He had to miss out on his first fastest lap because Raiden came up behind him rather quickly. He let him through just into the chicane to the hairpin here on his fastest lap. So this is actually his, like we said, his first fastest lap. He's taking it a little bit steady and getting caught in traffic. So look as though he gets on coming to the end of the second sector here.
So M3 guy, unfortunately, he needs to set a lap in because he hasn't gone for a lap yet. So I wonder if he's just going to accept this lap. But it didn't look very good for that first sector. Mainly the first corner, it looked a bit iffy, and then going through a bit later on the first sector, or second sector actually, he looked to have a bit of problem with Walter in traffic. And he comes into the final corner now. To have gotten through the chicane, okay. Around the final corner. Preferably I'd take a later apex on that final corner and try to get on the accelerator sooner. And for M3 guy's time, he does set one, and he is the slowest person on the grid so far.
Now he's pushed his stock on 2 lap tyres there, so he's going to have to stay out, trying to have to get a better lap on this one, but the tyres are starting to break. This front left is looking a little bit angry at the moment.
Yes, also getting a bit of slipstream off Night Donner. I think the one problem is that is in fact that Walter, I'm not sure whether he got hauled up a bit there by Night Donner on the lap. It looked to cause a bit of confusion. Night Donner going slow, but Night Donner has also set himself up to start a lap with Walter in the slipstream. These two are actually in 5th and 6th on the odd at the moment, and Walter getting a huge moment out of turn 4 there, and that's not going to help his lap time. I think Walter is indeed, yep, he's half a second down, so that's pretty much binned it. But with M3 guy, he put himself in this awful situation where his tyres are worn, but I don't think he has enough time to pit in, do and go for another flying lap, so he's going to have to make do with what he's got right now. Walter needs to back out the dirt here. Well, I mean, it is up to him if he feels he can go quicker in the slipstream. M3 guy's not improving on his time, so I think these warm tyres are costing him here. He definitely now in this situation does not have enough time to get a new set of tyres on and go for it. Raiden is now second quicker than Wrighton lad, who's still managing to improve. In fact, he's improved in his own time, keeping himself on that front row. Vintman G will want to get on that front row, and this will be the final lap for anyone that's already on. Race Day is in the pit lane. So then Vintman G is in P3, and he's actually gone purple. Vintman G's gone purple in the first sector. So is Vintman G gunning for pole position now? There's yellow flag, someone's facing the wrong way. Can't really tell who it is. It's Raiden. Raiden has fallen off the track somewhere, and Vintman G going purple on this flying lap. You can stay on board as he falls in through. He's still purple. He's purple by a tenth in the second sector, flat through the Schumacher S. He just used the downforce to get through that corner easily, flat. But Vintman G is going to be seeing he's purple. He's going to be seeing that he can get pole position here, but will he be able to do it? Is he going to be purple again in the third sector? Yes, he is. He's purple, but it's not by a much amount. Final sector, Vintman G could be all set to get pole position. He's looking quick here. This could be a good time. Qualifying is over. As Emperor Products has reminded them. Vintman G then, does he improve on his time? Is this going to be pole position? No, it's not. He's on the front row by 0.032 seconds. It's extremely close between the two of them. But Vintman G was purple the whole way around and ultimately did not get pole position. extremely close. That Wrighton, does Wrighton improve? He's definitely not improving. He looks to have gone off somewhere. Knight Donner could be on for an improvement here. In fact, Racer, he's already jumped up in a 4th place on Racer tier. So Knight Donner on the 2nd row of the grid. Can he get into 3rd place? He looks to have gone a bit out of shape going over the chicane there. We don't really see much of Knight Donner's lap. I can't comment on how tight he's been, but he looks to be going quick. Is he going to be off across the line? No, he's down. Tay has stopped. Walter is finished. Sissy 7th then. Emperor Products is in 8th. Max PCK is in 9th and Free Guide 10th. I now need to change the tyres to allow them to use anything other than super softs, because them's the rules. So now they will choose any tyre of soft, medium and hard.
So we've got quite an interesting race coming up. Obviously, M3 guy, we discussed it in qualifying that we had a little moment in turn 1 on his first flying lap, and then got overtaken by Raiden, so had to allow him past. And then by the time he got his fastest lap on, that was on the warm tyres at the end, and he was just up and getting the banker. So he's going to be starting in last, but I dare say his pace will be enough to push him towards the front of the grid. A lot of the fact Duke and then with 3000, that's going to be a lot of battle at the front now. It's interesting to see who has really just sitting behind and uses the pace.
Here we go then. When everyone is ready out of sector 1, we shall be prepared to begin the 4th race of the season, the halfway point here of the season. Once everyone's run, we can run you through the grid and the tyres that everyone has chosen to go on. I think the grid is pretty much set. Racer 10 needs to go through as well. We just wait for everyone to get to sector 1 and wait, and then we should be good to go. To see. Now there are a couple of things to remember. Is obviously there are 2 different compounds. There are 3 compounds available: the softs, the medium, and the hards. But nobody seems to go on the soft tyres, but they must use 2 different tyres in the race. How they use them and when they use them is completely up to them, so long as they use them. Now, interestingly enough, and it's actually been something that's been commented on by Raiden, I remember in Brands Hatch, that having to quickly adapt from the super softs to whichever actually can cost them on the start, and the softer tyres we've seen time and time again get a better start than those that have chosen to start on a harder compound. Another thing to bear in mind is the overtake button, which they will be able to use within the race to gain an increase in straight line speed, help them overtake, or help them defend. They can only use it as long as they have it, and when it's gone, it's gone. And we've seen, I think it was May that said, it's something that the drivers have to immediately get used to. It's when and where to use their overtake line. So here we go through the grid. Raiden starting on mediums, Vitman G on the mediums, Wrighton Lad on the mediums in 3rd, impressive qualifying from him. Knight Donner also on the 2nd row, starting on mediums. AMS Races A on the mediums. Yes, for some reason I thought that was sus. Walter is the highest of the drivers, starting on the hards. Sissy on the mediums. Emperor Buttocks, he's also on the hards. The 2 WAR cars on hard tyres. Max is starting on the hards, and M3 guy is on the mediums. So we have 3 drivers on the mediums. Nope, Sissy's on the mediums. Tay's on the mediums. So everyone is on the mediums bar the 2 WAR cars and Max. So 3 cars we have on the mediums. This is it. We're ready to go racing.
I'm going to be keeping my eye on the back there. We've got M3 guy on the medium tyre and the car's directly in front on hards. He could well be up close behind MJ Walter in 6th by the first corner.
Yes, you guys gonna want to make up some positions after this race after a disappointing qualifying, but here we are on the grid, race 4, with how close Vitmanji and Raiden were in qualifying. We could expect to see a battle between them two for the Raiden on the outside. The start is going to be crucial. It's a long run into the first corner, and we've seen how good the launch is, has made an impact previously in other races. Here we go then, ready to go for the German Grand Prix of the IGTL Super Formula Championship. The lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. But who's got a good start there? It's an incredible launch there from Sissy going down the middle. Raiden has not lost the lead off to Vitman. Vitman's going, what an incredible launch from Sissy. He's almost taking his fight to the teammate. In front, Vitmanji and Raiden have gone off. Raiden's off in the background there, and that's all right and lad to get up into the lead. Night Donna Walters up into 3rd place. Raiden and Vitmanji, what on earth happened into turn 1 between them two? Raiden's dropped down to 5th place, and Raystate's trying to get around the outside. Walters trying to get around the outside of Raiden. Raiden's trying to get back past Walter to fight himself up, and he's up in 3rd place. How close is he into 3rd? And Raiden's in. He's back up into that top 3 spot, but he lost the lead of the race there off the start. What Raiden lad is now leading this race with Night Donna 2nd, and 3rd place our championship leader. Taze trying to get down the inside on Walter, heading into the hairpin. Does he get him on the brake? Yes, he does, down the inside, and a brilliant move from Race Day. Expect to see more of that from him. He's a brilliant person when it comes to overtaking. And Raiden all over the back of Night Donna. It is crucial now that if Raiden wants to win this race, he needs to break away, because as soon as Raiden gets past Night, it's all going to break loose. And in fact, Night Donna has been a bit of contact there now. Taze all over the back of Raiden. He's taking the fight to Raiden here to get on that top 3. Well, someone's off in the background. Zebra Bullocks, and in fact Sissy's also off. Max has ended up at the back of the grid. Where is M3 guy? He's moved up into 8th place. And in fact, going down into the straight, Vitmanji's getting back down the inside of Walter into 5th place. He also had a horrific start. What on earth happened though between Vitmanji and Raiden? Vitmanji just looked to have pushed Raiden wide, and it just all went wrong from there. So Raiden miraculously leads at the end of lap 1 from 3rd place on the grid. Night Donna 2nd, Raiden 3rd, 4th place is Tay. Raiden's going to go over it. Night Donna's pulled out to the inside. Down the inside goes Night Donna. Does he make the move to stick though? No, he does not. Raiden looks to try and get around the outside now into turn 2. Night Donna's keeping it down the inside. They're going for it, and Night Donna's desperately trying to find his way through here, but he's not enough. And it's still going side by side, but Raiden's giving everything to try and hold on to this lead. And breathe.
And time to take a rest, yeah. We've got Raiden, obviously he's making up now. He's stuck in behind Night Donna, who's trying to get past right and left, so that's allowing him.
Oh, Raiden's got Raiden's on an error! Oh, massive moment from Raiden. And that means Vitmanji and Raiden swap positions. Oh, sorry for cutting you off there, but I mean, that just sort of happened.
Yeah, but you see the difference in the drivers as well and the skill that they've got of how he managed to hold that. Looks like it kicked out twice on him, but he managed to keep it together. They're still only on lap 2, so he's got the speed at those corners on Vitmanji.
Great opportunity now for Night Donna to take the victory, and he's going for it down the inside. No use of overtake, but I don't think from either of them. And in fact, Night Donna looks to have gone ahead, and he's through. Night Donna takes the lead going into the chicane for Yorkshire T Racing. What a brilliant start to this race, man. It's all just sort of happened. Two men we were thinking possibly could have just ran away with it, have both ended up down the order due to some sort of instant kicking off on the first lap.
And this is going to be a completely different race for them. Really, they're not used to overtaking other cars on the track. Used to zooming off from the start and maybe some back markers. So this is going to be really interesting for us. Especially both Vitmanji trying to hold off Raiden as well. They're just going to be getting on the back of Racer Tail really soon.
Well, you see, the thing is though, Raiden and Vitmanji, they're no strangers to battling each other, because as they both run extremely wide there, I wonder if they're really abusing that as much as they can without getting a penalty, because they haven't been given one. But if you think back, if any of you see the Group 3 race at Autopolis for Season 5, they went side by side for pretty much an entire lap. So it's not like they're a stranger to having to go wheel to wheel against each other. And Raiden's gone for it. He's absolutely gone for it. The hairpin, and that's not worked. That looked like a move out of desperation more than anything else. And Wrighton looks to be getting out of shape. That allows Tay up into second place. Wrighton now under threat from Vitman G and Raiden. Vitman G is trying to score as many points as he can, whilst Wrighton's trying to hold on to a top 3 spot in the championship, and it doesn't look to be working for him here.
Raiden is lining up Vitman G down the straight here. He's got a much better exit. He's going to the outside. Is he going to cut back? Goes to the outside.
He's gone for the outside, but it's a chicane, so it's not like it's over, and he's made it. God, that was getting very close between the two.
It's probably a good idea there by Vitman G in the end. Let him past. Doesn't have to look behind him now. He can keep his eyes firmly in front.
But Racer Tay, on his first ever race here, is doing an incredible job in second place, trying to catch up to Knight Donner. Obviously, honestly, I think I'm going to keep referring back to what happened on that first corner, because it looked like Vitman G got to the inside of Raiden and then pushed him off the track. And that allowed everyone else to move. In fact, Walter was in the top 3 for a brief period of time before dropping down the order, back down into 6th. The sort of best of the rest position is Walter, kind of in no man's land really. 2 seconds to 4 seconds to him through that. But if Walter can keep in that position, that would still be a brilliant race from him.
But Industry at the back now is behind Max. Just on that turn 4 into the left-hander. Slight bit of contact earlier, but let him back through, no problems. Really hoping that they can get some fresh air and catch up Michael Parks in 8th, but he's now 10 seconds in front of him.
So now then, Raiden's going to have to try and shape up a move on Wrighton to get back onto the podium. The top 5 look to be running away from the rest of the pack, but they're not running away from each other in the slipstream. They have got overtake button, but Raiden's not choosing to deploy any of it here. As Wrighton has actually not touched his overtake button the whole race so far. He's gone this whole 4 laps without even using his overtake button. Racer Tay looks to have absolutely abused the system. He's already got less than a quarter, and he's putting a lot of strain on his tyres. Mike Donald looks to go defensive on the main straight, but from 7/10 back, it's going to have to be the worldiest of dive bombs. Meanwhile, more likely is Raiden, who does pull to the inside. Down the inside goes Raiden into the first corner, and he makes the move stick, but in the end, no, he doesn't, because Wrighton's able to cut back, and Wrighton tries to hold it around the outside. This is a carbon copy of what happened between Knight Donner and Wrighton just a couple of laps earlier, and yes, it pretty much is. Wrighton around the outside holds the position, and yeah, it pretty much is just a carbon copy of what happened just a couple of laps ago when Knight Donner overtook Wrighton. So maybe that's just a weakness in where he's placing the car, is that they're able to just get around him like. Something that Wrighton might have to think about really quickly is that maybe he's not defending in the right position going into that first corner. It's a tricky one to do because he doesn't look to be going overly defensive into turn 1.
Well, now he's Vitman G is catching up to Wrighton as well. They had slight contact just where Wrighton was trying to get himself out of the corner. But yeah, I wonder whether he actually knows about the overtake button, if he hasn't used it at all. I'm saying that Vitman G has only had a slight dab on the overtake button, so maybe they're both being very clever and just keeping everything until towards the end of the race.
See now, Vitman G is even in the slipstream with a shot of overtaking. Oh, there it is. He's using his overtake down into the first corner, down the inside into the chicane, moved on, dusted right, and drops out of 5th place. It would be a miracle if he was able to hold on to that lead that he acquired at the start, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was entirely realistic. In fact, Raiden's found his way past Tay. I don't know how that's happened. That happened, and I wasn't really looking at it, but Raiden is now ahead of Racer Tay, and now sets his sights on Knight Donner for Raiden to retake the lead. He's had to fight for this one. I mean, he had to fight for the one in Catalonia. He didn't quite come through to a victory, which is a bit different to the first 2 races where he sort of just disappeared after a while. But if you remember back to Brands Hatch, we saw these two have a great battle before it all came wrong for Knight Donner in the pit lane. So will we see a similar scenario happening again? Will Knight Donner be able to hold on this time and make the right strategy calls? Someone's gone off, it's Tate, Tate's gone off in the background.
Yeah, he put too much power in going out of turn 4, and the rear end stepped out on him. Those tyres are worn. It's very unfortunate that he was under pressure from Vitamin G as well, who now is up to 3rd place, 2.7 behind Raiden.
He was doing an incredible job, and now it's all gone completely wrong for Racer Tay. He was looking like he was challenging for the victory in this race, and unfortunately just a small mistake has really cost him. But what's going to cost him even more is these tyres have been known for their really high degradation, and one mistake like that could really just ruin the tyres and therefore the race. And speaking of, Knight Donner's tyres look to be considerably more worn than that of Raiden. And Raiden, however, fight his way back as he comes to the inside. Does he look to the inside? Doesn't quite make the move, but with Raiden having to fight his way back, has used more of his own. Donner, and Knight Donner's in, and Raiden's also in, so the two leaders both pitting in on lap 6 of their medium tyres. Vimji's in, Raiden's in. Walter, on the hard tyres, has made the right call, or at least he has for now. Walter is going to go on to take the lead of this race. That is a sentence I never thought I'd ever say in my life. And what's better is how much he can push on, as you see where he can come out. He was starting to drop off quite considerably behind sort of 5th place, but with Racer Tay still out, he's managed to get past him. And Products is trying to get around Knight Donner. Knight Donner gets a bit of a spin, so does Raiden. So that's just putting into perspective what I was on about earlier about the first corner, about if you take too much of the apex, the sudden drop can really affect the balance of the car, and it's just having both of them there. And in fact, Emperor Buttocks is in between Knight Donner and Raiden, and he's not willing to get out of the way. I mean, not that he has to. He was technically fine for position in the end, though, Raiden. But that is traffic that's cost Raiden a bit of time to Knight Donner now. In fact, Rest's gone off again. Rest's off again, and that's allowed Knight Donner to catch up considerably now. This only affects Rest, and now Walter has an 8-second lead.
Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, we've got Knight Donner, who's very strong at the moment, but Raiden is all over the back of him. But that first corner could have been down to them. They just took off those medium tyres and they've gone on to the hards there. So they're having to race hard against each other and try and understand how the tyres worked on that corner.
Oh, he's getting a bit of a wobble, So Racer will be pitting in this lap, and he's going to lose a lot of time. He's probably going to drop behind Knight, Raiden, Wittmann. He will drop behind Buttocks, who will be continuing on. Raiden, I reckon, he'll fall. He might even fall all the way down to about, I'd say, 8th place if Tay. And Tay is in, so I guess we will find out. But you've got to be loving life if you're Walter right now. You're just having a race of your own, 8 seconds up, and in fact Raiden's trying to make the move into turn 1. That's not quite going to work. There's blue flags being waved for some reason. They're just not used to Walter being ahead of them. Raiden's down the inside into the first corner. He's made the move stick, but does Knight Donner fight back? You bet he does. And is Knight Donner going to hold it around the outside? It's going to get very tight, but I think Knight Donner does just about hold that one off. So he's like the first person to really halt the progress here of Raiden, who has been absolutely launching. And you've got to think, this is the scrap for the victory now between Knight Donner, Raiden and Vitamin G. These probably will be the three, once Walter pits, that will be racing for the win.
There's a change to proceedings. We've got M3 guy coming out the pits with soft tyres on. So he's the first racer, I think, in the actual race who's got any softer compound in the medium. So we'll see how long they last and how much time he can catch up. He's got Racer Tay in front of him, 6.4.
Well, we saw last time as Tay goes on to the hard tyres. Max, this is his first race. I think Max has pitted onto the hards as well. Max is still learning a lot about the league. He's recently joined and he's still trying to figure everything out. So, I mean, there will be a long way through Max's mind right now, as will there be with Tay, who's never driven the car before this race. So that does probably explain a lot about the mistakes that he made, is that I don't think he's actually spent much time driving the car. He's making a slight error again, really costing him. because this is now fighting for the win. Night Donner has actually really reeled in Walter now, but Raiden, is he going to go for it again? He's using the overtake on the main straight. He's actually used a lot more overtake than Night Donner, but down the inside goes Raiden into the first corner, into turn 1. Does he get it done this time? Under the braking, Night Donner does the exact same thing again, and we're getting a carbon copy of last lap, only this time Raiden is through. But does Night Donner fight back? Oh, Raiden gets a huge wobble on there. In fact, Walter's got a penalty. Walter has a penalty. But then again, Walter's not really racing for the win. In fact, the first person we could probably compare Walter to will be Emperor Buttocks, maybe Raiden, but we don't really know for sure. And this is going to mean Walter has kind of let Raiden through. I think Walter knows this is not really his race. It was a brilliant time to lead as many laps as he did without making a mistake. It does show that there is probably potential within him to get better, because he managed to lead that long without making errors. But he is dropping down through this battle now, and it's really costing Vitman G to get through. But it's not a blue flag situation, so it's not like Walter has to let them through, and he can realistically fight them back for position. And I think Walter's going to do just that. Walter's going to go for it. No, he's not. Instead, Vitman G looks like a Night Donner went incredibly defensive. That's going to cost Night Donner. Vitman G pulls to the inside. No, he does not. And Walter stayed with them.
And look at that, Raiden lad still in 5th. He's only just behind that group, and he's managed to catch up 0.4 on the last sector to the back of MJ Walter. Obviously, Walter's slightly falling off the group himself, but he'll soon have Raiden lad right up behind him.
Night Donner looks to have gapped Vitman G. Raiden has done exactly what he usually does when he takes the lead, and that is to just start pulling away. We've got about 9 laps left. It's actually the least amount of laps in any race we've done so far. Eb3, how's he holding up on the softs? He's managing to go relatively well. In fact, he's set his best lap time as he runs around in 8th place trying to catch up. But I think he's actually getting on Tay. Buttocks hasn't pitted, Walter hasn't pitted. I think they're the only two that haven't. And it looks like if they can go on just maybe one more lap, and I don't think they will, their tyres look shot, or at least Walter's doing a great job of holding on to those tyres as he loses the position to Raiden and then immediately gains it back going through the hairpin. Schumacher S, he's going to start feeling the effects mainly in that corner, because he's going to start losing grip there. And you can see them starting to grain on the tyre. Down the inside goes Raiden. Is this a case of Walter conceding? No, because Raiden runs wide. Walter tries to get around the outside. Walter tries to get around the outside, and it's not quite worked out for him. In fact, Raiden has lost the position, and Night Donner's suddenly retaken the lead. I wonder if Raiden's made an error somewhere.
We just had, that was Night Donner in the slipstream down the back straight into the chicane. Just had a good exit out the last corner and was pushing down behind him there. They seem to be swapping positions a little bit through the after the long straight, so they don't seem to be able to get away from each other.
This is an absolutely great race down the inside. It looked like he was going to try it there, but didn't quite, just wasn't quite close enough, not on this occasion. Walter's staying out again. Buttocks is in the pits then. I reckon Walter's trying to make a one-stop work, and I reckon it will do, because he's doing an incredible job of keeping these hards going. He's the only one that's not pitted, and on a one-stop, we could see an interesting race for Walter to maybe finish. Dare I say, is it possible Walter could finish in the top 4?
I think he could quite easily, yeah. He's going to be now going on to the medium compound. Raiden lad, he started on the mediums, he's on mediums again, so I believe he'll have to go on the hards.
Yeah, he will have to go on hards. But what also will happen is Raiden probably might have to pit in again. Walter could possibly make those tyres if he gets a set of mediums to the end, which I say is more than possible. It is entirely possible that he could see them get into a brilliant position, and then he just needs to hold on, and it's possible top form, maybe a podium could be possible. That might be a bit out of the realms as Raiden goes down the inside into the chicane. Not quite on this occasion. He's really trying to get past now. This is a brilliant scap for the lead, and is this the race we've been wanting to see? Mike Donner versus Raiden versus Vitmanji, and all three of them in equal machinery. It's what they've been hoping for, and if you've seen the group threes, it's usually these three guys at the top, and this time in equal machinery it's looking very close indeed, and Vitmanji trying to get on the inside. And is this the title fight that has been some from this? It looks like we're going to be an easy runaway season, but after this race and the Catalonia race, it looks like Raiden's within touching distance of the likes of Mike Donner, and with Vitmanji making now a full-time role, he can definitely give Raiden a run for his money. However, missing the first three races, don't think it's likely Vitmanji can win the championship this season. Walter's going on again.
Yeah, I'm watching MJ Walter. I'm watching him go round. So he's on the hards. They're 3/4 warm at the front, come at the half on the back.
Hang on, Raiden's going down the inside. Hang on a minute, Raiden's down the inside on Night Donner. Move is done and dusted there. One factor is Night Donner gets a huge slide, and he's looked to just squirt the traction a bit too much there, and he's looked to have made a huge mistake that's cost him. One interesting variable that I've just now picked up on is look at Vitmanji's amount left in comparison to that of Raiden's. This could have huge altercations in the end of the race.
We've got Vitmanji on the medium tyre and Raiden's on the hard as well. So are we expecting Raiden to be able to go to the end of the race?
I reckon Raiden will go. Actually, no, I think Vitmanji might have to pit again. Night Donner's in. Night Donner in the pits. And it's not like he's got tyre wear because they're very. So I wonder if he's just going on the mediums, hoping everyone else has to pit. Right, and lads in. Walter. Does Walter pit in? Yes, he does eventually. Walter in the pits. Tay in 6th. He's going to gain a couple of positions here. It'll put him on the podium position, but I don't know if he'll be going to the end. I reckon he could. But Night Donner's decision to pit in and come off the medium tyre, that could trigger some sort of reaction here between Vitmanji and Raiden. Now, does Raiden pit in? Where has Night Donner? Night Donner's on the softs. Interestingly, so Night Donner pits onto the softs, so he means business now. If you remember at the last race, we saw how well the softs worked for Apex Predator when he pitted in on the softs and went for the victory with Raiden on the hards. Raiden's on a fresh set of the hards here.
Yeah, I'm just watching M3 guys, he puts on another set of softs. Since his last pit stop, he's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 laps at the most on those soft tyres, and now they're looking pretty warm.
So, has Night Donner pitted in to go onto the softs? Because it's not that I don't blame his decision to go onto the softs, because it could work for him, but has he pitted in too early?
Yeah, we'll see how he gets on towards the end, but I think that may be maybe one lap too early there. But he had to make a decision. He was dropping back, wasn't he?
Vitmanji is in. And Raiden is also in. So Vitmanji in, Raiden in. Racer Tay could, if he is able to get to the end, because I don't know if some of them are pitting in for fuel possibly, but now has Night Donner worked that undercut? He's very much in contention to win, as is Vitman, and I think Night Donner's going to take the lead. No, Tay, sorry, is going to take the lead. Night Donner is going to move up in a second, and you can see them slipstream down the straight. I think, where's Raiden and Vitman? Actually, no, I tell a lie. Vitmanji has come out in the lead. Raiden second. Race Tay tries to get to the inside into second place, and suddenly we have a four-way scrap for victory. And Night Donner is through on races. What I thought was a desperate attempt at a dive bomb might have actually just been Night Donner trying to defend from Night Donner. In fact, Walter is in the pits again on the hard tyre. Is now pitting in for a second time. And Raiden has a penalty. So I think he's punished the limits a bit one too far, and that means now Donna moves into second to try and chase down Vitmanji. This has probably been one of the most exciting races so far this season. Like, they've all been good, but this is probably one of the better ones. And Tay has gone off in the background, and I think that's really, Tay has really abused his overtake, but he's got very minimal left, especially in comparison to Wrighton, who's now really pressuring him, which is not ideal for Racer Tay because he's got virtually none left.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see how far Donna and Vitmanji can pull away from Raven. You see with the different tyre compounds, we'll be looking at Donna and Vitmanji pulling away slightly to start with, and as we start getting towards the end of the race, Raven will be able to pull him back in as their tyres go off. But he's holding with him, he's still within a second of Donna coming out the final corner.
It is very interesting that this race has definitely taken a turn to the tyres. With Vitmanji and Donna on the soft, Donna on one lap older softs than Vitmanji, who still barely used his overtake, but Donna has spun. He's had a bit of a moment, and that allows Raiden through. And that's not ideal, because on those softs he wants to use them while they're fresh. We've got like 4 laps remaining. Raiden on the mediums, I don't know if he's just not comfortable by making the softs the end, because or the softs are just going to hit the cliff and he's going to suddenly come into his own. I think that might be the thinking there.
They look like they're wearing rather quickly as well, so keep an eye on that.
It looks like Emperor Buttocks is going to the end on the medium tyres. Walter, I'm not 100% certain what the thinking is. He's on fresh mediums for the final like 3 or 4 laps. He definitely would have made the softs to the end. I'm not really certain why he chose to change his tyre compound. He did on the hards, and clearly he must have thought there was just nothing there and pitted in, and now I think we might have been a bit too optimistic, because Walter currently sits in 7th place.
Yeah, he had that extra stop, I believe. I'm not sure what happened, but I think he might have put it twice in 2 laps. It looks like he's put quite a bit of fuel in as well compared to everybody else.
In fact, Racer Tay has not got a single drop of overtake. He has milked it dry. Now he's not even got anything left to use, compared to Wrighton Lad, who's got half of it. So that's going to be an extra advantage for Wrighton Lad. If Tay ever becomes a threat, he's just going to use the overtake button, and Tay's going to have nothing to respond. In fact, Donna, and there's Sissy being lapped coming out the pits there. Donna has actually got very minimal overtake button. In fact, it's got less than Raiden, but I think everyone on track right now has got less than Vitmanji.
Yeah, pretty much go along with that. I was just checking back through and just trying to figure out what's going to happen in the next 2-3 laps, because we're putting him through 1.8 in front. He is being getting caught by Raven, but not massively. But he does have all that overtake button left.
I was going to say, if
rather exciting over the next 3 laps.
Interestingly, if Vitmanji's tyres hit the cliff, and I don't think they will, that means Raiden will be able to catch up. With that huge amount of overtake button excess that Vitmanji has, he could just use that to try and compensate for what. I wonder if this was the plan all along, and that Vitmanji was just trying to compensate for in case the tyres did fall off, he would have the overtake button to help. It's a risky strategy to go for, but it has worked for him. He's now 1.2 seconds quicker on a faster tyre, that I reckon he's going to get to the end of the race. And I think Raiden might have been way too cautious pitting the mediums.
I think you might be right there. We'll have to see how that goes, but means that Vitmanji has been looking after his tyres not using the overtake. How much of the tyre does the overtake button take out? And how much life does it take out of them? And is that why he's sort of still holding the softs quite well after that 3 laps he's been out of the pits on the softs, and they're not looking too bad at all. Just worrying about the stress that they come under over the overtake button.
Interestingly though, he on the last lap went 7/10 slower than what Raiden did, but on the lap before that he set the fastest lap in the race. So interesting that he's then ended up being nearly a second slower than Raiden, I think. Yeah, on that previous lap.
Yeah, I've been sat on board with those and sat behind watching them. And there wasn't anything noticeable. Maybe it was just a slower break a little bit early into a corner or something. But there wasn't a tank slap or anything that you could notice with causing it. Loading on the overtake button again. He's now under a second behind Whitman G.
The gap is under a second, but Raiden desperately running out of time if he wants to win this race. He's running out of opportunities to do it. He's got 8 attempts, he's close, and that use of overtake button to try and catch up is not going to help when he gets close enough, because if Vitman G then uses it and Raiden doesn't have any, which he is running very low on, is not going to help him. So then onto the main straight then. We've seen a lot of overtakes happen into the first corner, and is Raiden going to go for it yet again? Going down into turn 1. He's less than a second, but I don't think he's close enough. He's not using his overtake, neither is Vitman G though. On that lap 17 then, Raiden set a 39.5. Vitman G set 39.8. They were 3 tenths slower, so I think suddenly those tyres have suddenly lost grip or something, because suddenly Raiden is lapping quicker than Vitman G. Unfortunately, it's not by enough of an effect to really allow Raiden a shot at victory. Tay's in again on the penultimate lap of the race, which could allow Buttocks to get into the top 5. In fact, it will allow Buttocks could finish 5th, and in fact Walter could finish 6th, which is an incredible job for the 2 WAR cars.
Because they were the cars that started on the hard tyre at the start, so they've indicated a couple of positions that they've moved up.
And it shows that
now Raiden half a second and behind Vitman G, so we've got Vitman G with his overtake button when we get to the back straight, and Raiden pushing on the heavier better condition back.
here we go then. Raiden is got much better healthy looking tyres. He's incredibly close, but he's got no overtake button. Vitman G's not using it though. Vitman G, this is the time to use the overtake button. Raiden comes to the inside on the chicane. On the final lap, he's gone for it, and Raiden takes the lead. On the final lap, wasn't quite the final corner, but it pretty much was, and that means Raiden has won the German wins race 4, and he's back to his winning race. Well done Raiden, well done Vitman. Unfortunately he gave up a fight there, but I wonder if it was a simple case that he forgot the overtake button existed.
I think you might be right there. That could be a thing to ask him when we get the interview afterwards.
I'm going to say, we're going to have to speak to him and find out what happened, because it looks to me that that was the prime time to use it. Raiden had none left, and Vitman G pretty much had a full amount of it, so I wonder if that was just, he genuinely just forgot that the overtake button was a feature of this car. Mike Donner ended up in 3rd place in the end after looking on just a couple of mistakes, and he's really punished those soft tyres. Right and Lad did well in 4th, but honestly, my drive of the day, oh no, Emperor's out of fuel! Emperor Buttocks is going incredibly slow. He's just let his teammate through, and Walter is now into 5th using team orders. On the final lap, Walter has just gained 5th place, 6th for Emperor Buttocks. I wonder if that's a case of Emperor's a substitute, so he's not scoring points for himself, so he might as well let his teammates score, because they're still getting the same for their team. It's just Walter's gaining an extra like 2 points in the Drivers' Championship, and honestly, that might be Walter's best ever race.
Yeah, that's yeah, I can't remember any of the other races that I've been in where he's been finishing up that high. So yeah, that's an absolutely fantastic race for Walter in the end.
Honestly, I think Walter would be my driver of the day. Walter, if you're listening, well done to you. That was sensational, aside from the team orders at the end, but it is another victory for Raiden. And honestly, I think this was probably the most exciting race of the season so far.
Yeah, that was practically bumper to bumper for most of the cars throughout, especially at the front there. The first 5, should we say, started to get a little bit straightened out at the back, but yeah, the first 5 were more fantastic.
Right, it is now that time where we interview our top 3 drivers. It somewhat became a staple of this series now, and everyone loves it, so we're going to continue doing it. And we may even interview some of the other drivers as well.
first, just got people like Race Tail away at the end, but first time in the car, and interesting to sort of hear how quickly he got up to grips with M3 Guy as well at the back. See what the story of his race was.
Where did M3 Guy finish up in the end? He came in P8. So overall, won the best race from Free Guy. It was an incredible race for the two WAR cars, Walter and Emperor Buttocks. And Sissy picks up another point. It's not going too well for Sissy this season. And Vitman G did pick up fastest lap in the end. Hello, Raiden. Hello, Nike. Hello. Nike, this is your first interview with us, isn't it? That is my PlayStation. I can't really do much about that, I'm afraid.
It's alright for you, you've just joined the chat. I've been in there for an hour listening to that.
I think we're just waiting.
So loud,
Yeah, it won't shut up.
Hey
Hello.
guys.
Hello again. Now we're all here. Well done to the three of you. Did well. And
Nice one.
that honestly was probably one of the most exciting races this season. But I want to think what happened on lap 1 between Vitman and Raiden.
Yeah, I kind of missed my braking, and yeah, sorry Raven, I couldn't stop it. They got a bit overexcited. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the Raiden nerfing device. Just push him to the back of the grid, see what he does from there. But all in all, it came down to varying strategies then. What was the decision process for that one, Raiden? And the mediums at the end?
We had like 5 laps left, and I knew Vic was going to go soft, so I thought, you know, compromise the first few laps and get fast the last laps on the other laps. But the mediums,
Yeah, only just though.
only just did.
Budge, anything?
No, I can't wait to speak a bit more.
Okay then. One thing we did notice though, Vitman, was that did you just forget that the overtake button existed or something?
I kept forgetting which button it was on my steering wheel, and like, I couldn't find it at the end. I was seesawing the wheel trying to get it, but yeah, I need to revamp that, I think.
I think the other two will know, but we were commenting on how Raiden and Night Donna at the end, she had none of it left, and Vitman still had a full bar of it.
But yeah, we were thinking that he was being clever and holding it up and knowing that his tires would go off at the end, so he was keeping all the overtake for the last lap just to hold you up there, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, that was my intention, but yeah, I don't even, at the end, I like, on the final run up to the chicane, I was trying to find it, but I kept hitting the wrong bar, and I think the indicators, I almost hit the handbrake at one point. Yeah, so I kind of lost it for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we saw it when you went in, you thought I'd not done. Yeah, they don't have but you had them together.
Just one question for you all though. What was all of your reaction when you saw Walter was leading the race?
Yeah. Yeah, hard then, went hard then soft, I think. Yeah, it was excellent, guys. I've got a question for Raven, though.
Go ahead.
So you managed to catch up with them down the back straight, you get it into the chicane, you come out of the chicane, and then you had a bit of a moment. That looked like that was a difficult one to kind of snap just at the end there. That must have made you a little bit on the nervous side.
I had several moments through that race. I don't know if you
we caught
captured
a
them
few
all,
of them.
but I was on the grass at least 4 or 5 times.
I think all of Nike's moments came out of turn 1. Did you just struggle with something out of first corner? And every so often we saw you, it looked like you were constantly trying to fight the car on exit all the time. It was a great battle though between Raiden and Nike for most of that race though.
Oh, it's such a difficult track to overtake around in these cars. Because I kept catching up to him, and then right on the exit of the corner, I'd lose all grip under his draft. So it's so difficult. Yeah, I'm that.
Oh yeah, by the way Vitman, on the chat Alan says you let him down because he thought you was going to win.
Sorry.
Alan! Alan!
Yeah, so to be honest, when I started the last lap, I thought I had it, and yeah.
I
just
thought
wasn't
Walter
quite
was
to
going to
be.
win.
To be fair, it was only really their battle that kept me in it anyway. Like, I wasn't able to catch them, but then every time they were side by side, it just enabled me to get that bit closer. So I was surprised. Yeah. Yeah, I was just fuel saving. I didn't take fuel at all. I don't know if you guys did. I assume you did, Raven, because that's how I got out ahead of you.
Yeah, I did have to put a little bit in, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't take fuel, so that kind of helped. It was more fun having the pit stop, wasn't it?
So then, does this mean we're going to expect the title fight then between you three? I was going to say, you've kind of got a bit of a downfall, haven't you, Vitman?
Yeah, I've only just joined, unless you're going to give me my points from last week. But even then, like, I'm too far behind at the moment, but you know, we'll hopefully give him some good races until the end of the season. Yeah, it was good fun.
And so that means last one then. Next race, Red Bull Ring. Thoughts?
That's going to be a fantastic track.
You only say that because it's like one of your more successful tracks.
That's going to be great.
last sector is going to be epic in these cars. Yeah, it should be a good one.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I thought that was an excellent race, guys. You really sort of, all the close battling you did throughout the 18 laps was really entertaining. So yeah, thanks very much, gents. Oh man. Good.
Nice one, guys. Yeah, why not? Cool. See you later, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Thanks.
I think we'll just invite Walter in, have a quick chat, and then that'll be it then. Because driver of the day, hands down. Save that replay, and then we'll just wait to see if Walter wants to join. Ah, hello. Bye bye. That was a quick chat then.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredibly quick. Ah, you're back again. Have you decided you're going to stay this time? Right. It was a quick chat because we need to wrap things up. But all in all, a good race for you then.
Yeah, I think with the pit stop was the worst one when I accidentally kept it hard as I got screwed up. But just back in the news, came out just beyond my M3. M3 screwed up next to that, later that the chicane. Then I just caught up to Bottom, so I think I ran out of fuel in the end. It's alright.
What was the obviously you started on hards, and then you pitted in the lap after. What exactly was the reasoning for that?
Oh, I just didn't get it right. That was it, didn't it?
You start on the wrong tyre. Select the wrong tyre.
Yeah. I didn't start on the tyre, start on the right tyre, just I didn't get the right one, accidentally go onto the hards when I wanted to ideally go on the mediums. But I probably would have gotten 5th anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching it, we were obviously just saying how excellent it was. You were pushing really well in that race. And when we actually found that you were staying out for so long, we were sort of saying that could put you up into about 5th. But then you still would have had to have managed the next set of tyres well,
yeah,
and sort of look at people behind. So yeah, I thought that was an excellent race for you. And yeah, it's Robbo's giving you driver of the day.
One of my better finishes. I've had better in GR2, but I think if I can repeat this next week at Red Bull without, hopefully I'll have a good rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there any team orders at play then at the end on the last lap? Because it looked as though Emperorix had let you through. Was there any communication
did he
there?
run out of fuel or not? Because it seemed like he just ran out completely.
I don't think he did, because that's what I initially thought. But then as soon as you overtook him, he then sped up again. So I don't think he let you through.
Well, if he did.
Well, I mean, I think he
wow,
let.
but I was gaining quite quick though. I think when I came out the pit to the mediums, I was about 12 seconds behind him. So I gained, what, 12 seconds within 4 or 5 laps. So it might have been team orders, but apart from that I was unaware because I wasn't talking to him whatsoever.
Well, thank you then. And obviously next race is the Red Bull Ring. We'll see you there, not next week, week after. But yeah. And to all who are...
Congratulations, excellent race.
Yeah, congratulations. Oh yeah, one question. What was your reaction when you took the lead?
because I knew that the hards would last a lot longer than mediums. I was like, okay. Then it was 8 seconds, so I was kind of gaining a bit of 8 seconds. I was like, oh, okay. If I can keep this up for a bit and not screw up, I might have a good chance. But then it obviously happened, my tyres just started to completely die. Had a distraction for about a lap. Then I had a little moment with a pit stop, and then yeah, I feel like when I took the lead, when I went up to third in the first corner, especially first corner, was like,
I was gonna say you were third as well at the start.
yeah. And
Also,
then I
where
dropped back down again.
Where did the decision to start on hards come from? Because you were one of 3 people to start on hards. The other being, was it Emperor and I think it was M3 guy. I think started on hards as well.
No,
Everyone else on the
Max,
medium.
he said.
Oh, is it Max?
The decision's gone in the hards. Judging by kind of the pace of other people, they would go on the mediums. I thought hards, I'd rather last a lot longer than constantly have to pit once or twice. But yeah, it's kind of just a regular thing because I think I'm used to hards. I'm quite used to them. I like them. They got the grip, they got the tyre wear, but then again they can really screw you up. But I just kind of felt like going on hards and no strategical genius.
I think we'll have to wrap things up there then. So, anyone still watching the stream, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Say goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Yep, and see you next time.